What did great-great-great-great-great-grandma Hannah have in her hand? A book. What if the book that Hannah got in her hands is the book of Hey y'all, hey, what's up? Guess who's back? It's me. But I'm gonna calm down because I know y'all ain't really miss me that much. So we are here to review Lovecraft Country episode 3. That's right, episode 3. Your girl is late to the party, but baby, I showed up and I'm here. So just a little recap of episode 2. They have escaped the witches and the warlocks of Lovecraft Country, and Uncle George has died. So sad. So episode 3 takes place 3 weeks after Uncle George's funeral, and it opens up with Letitia in the pews of a church. And I want to give a shout out to the show for accurately depicting the black church praise and worship. Okay, I am Pentecostal to the death of me. All right, so I know all about the shouting and the running down the aisles, but of course in my church it's more than just one person doing it, so fix that part. But anywho, Letitia has just purchased an old, dusty mansion, okay, in an all-white neighborhood. Sounds like trouble? Because it is. Okay, so Letitia affords the house with an inheritance that was left behind by her deceased mama. Now, she really got the money because of Christina, but she don't know all of that. So anywho, she convinces her sister Ruby to move in with her by telling her this is their chance to finally bond as real sisters. And this is very telling of their strained relationship because Letitia has a very questionable past of being an abuser and a user, okay? And it sounds very familiar. It sounds like her mama. But moving on there. So, one, did you guys notice like all of the little scientist tools that was laying around the house, huh? Very telling of what the previous owner did. But honestly, since we're here, y'all already seen the episode anyway. The previous owner was an evil white scientist who secretly experimented on black people. And the souls of those people, including the scientist, still lives inside the house, making the house haunted as they torment Letitia. But anywho, the house is actually very similar to the TV show Charmed. I don't know if you guys noticed. But what I will say about this episode is that it was very Tales of the Hood-ish, you know, not to be confused with Tales of the Crypt, but Tales of the Hood. All right, and I actually would have preferred if they didn't show us the ghost. Like, I don't know about y'all, but when I seen the ghost, it was very like corny, you know, and it definitely lowered the scare factor value for me. But then again, hindsight, I do understand why they had to show the ghost, you know, why it was necessary. But moving on. So Tick comes to visit Letitia at her new and haunted house. And this is the first time Tick has actually seen her since, I guess since he checked in with her Uncle George's funeral, which was like 3 weeks ago. But he stops in to say goodbye before he leaves. But then he has a change of heart when 3 white men pull up. All right, and park their little cars in front of Letitia's house. It has a brick on the top of a car horn. You know, it was supposed to be intimidating, but it's like, was it really? I don't know. So, moving on, Letitia throws a party, a little housewarming get together, and it actually looked like it was popping. I ain't gonna lie, that thing was full. People was moving, but you know who was really moving? Letitia, because she was bumping and grinding, you know, rolling and gyrating all over this little random man that nobody cared about, as Tick watched on very jealously. Okay, and what I will say about their relationship is very strange because it's very clear that there's some type of attraction there. And honestly, Letitia, she just want to love on Tick. Like, let's be real about it. But Tick, he just like clams up and just rejects her every time. But it's very clear that Tick has feelings for her because, you know, he shows it within his actions. Like, he's very protective over her, you know, even when, you know, she heard the sounds and like she went to get Tick and Tick came down with his little baseball bat, muscles was out shining. Did y'all notice he was over there looking like John Henry himself? Okay, John Henry, the folktale, you know y'all history, y'all Google it. But anyway, so it's very clear that Tick has some type of feelings for her, but why he rejects them is very strange. No idea. So anywho, Tick then follows Letitia to the bathroom, okay? And they start doing the oochie coochie dance. All right, I'm talking about sex, y'all. And what I will say about this scene is that it was very disappointing, okay? It looked like it sucked, and Tick, he didn't last long at all, which is very disheartening, you know, for me, because I don't know about y'all, but I'm Team Tick over here, okay? You know, I was rooting for you, Tick, but you let us down. So anywho, it shows that Letitia, she starts bleeding, right? And she blames it on her time of the month. So Tick leaves and Letitia, she just starts crying. Later on, we find out that Letitia was actually a virgin. And I definitely want to shout out to the writers, because yes, to y'all making this very outspoken, you know, I'm Letitia, Mother effing Lewis, or whatever freak her name was, you know, very, it's my way, you know, very strong-willed woman, a virgin. You know, you wouldn't really tie those two things together, but I see what y'all did there, writers, and I appreciate it. And side note, what I do want to say is that when the kids was downstairs playing with the Ouija board, which side note, I didn't know black people played with the Ouija board, because, you know, the devil is real, child. But anywho, so as the kids is over playing, I think that the boy, of course he isn't Emmett Till, but I believe they played with Emmett Till with him, because he had on the same outfit. And then when he asked about the question, oh, is my trip gonna be a good one, and it said no, I was like, okay, I see what y'all did there. But moving on. So anywho, then, you know, a burning cross is placed on the line of Letitia's house. All right, and Letitia is fed up, okay? She get worked up. She storms out that house with a bat in her hand, and she goes to work on all three of those cars out front, okay? And then she finally, y'all, she removes the brick that was placed on the horn. And what was Tick doing while all of this was happening, you ask? Tick was right there with his little two men beside him with shotguns in hand, okay, ready to protect they black woman, because that's what we love to see, ain't it? I love to see it any day of the week, anytime, any moment, okay? Yes, Tick, that's why we Team Tick over here. But anywho, so after Letitia gets arrested, she comes home in her dark room, which I don't know if you guys noticed, but in her dark room is the only time the white scientist ghost appears, right? And it's because that's where he was doing his scientist experiments, right? So anyway, so he appears and he tells her to get out, and of course she runs away. So then her and Tick, they seek the services of a witch doctor, which I don't really know if that's what she is, but that's just what I'm gonna call her, of a witch doctor to cast out the spirits and the ghosts from her house. But of course the witch doctor, she wouldn't be hurt unless she brought a goat. Okay, a live goat, killed them dead, and then put the blood on top of their foreheads as a shield of protection. So anywho, so they're calling out the spirits, calling out the ghost, and right when it seemed like it worked, the sprinklers go off. And when the sprinklers go off, it actually wipes off the shield of protection, you know, that is on their head, which then allows the evil white scientist ghost, you know, to go into the body of the witch doctor, and then it goes into Tick, right? So Letitia is scared for her life, okay, because Tick is coming at her. So then Letitia, she calls on, you know, the help of the black ghosts who are living in the houses, and then together, you know, they cast the ghost out of Tick, and then they destroy the little white scientist ghost, and in return, it heals their ghostly bodies, which then allows their spirits to finally rest in peace, right? And it's like, yay, this is such a great moment, relief. But then it lands on Letitia, and that dang on Letitia is going through it, y'all. I want to say, out of everybody in this dang on show besides Uncle George, and that's only because he dead, but is he really dead? But anyway, Letitia has been through the most, I would say. She didn't die and then came back, so that's trauma. You know, she didn't have Tick penis turned into a freaking snake. You know, she didn't have this whole ghost situation. She lost her virginity and cried afterwards because it's not what it seemed like. Like, the girl is tired. Like, I understand the strength of the black woman, but y'all, please let up on Letitia. She needs a break, my God. So anywho, moving on, the good part of the show. So Christina is alive, y'all. Did y'all know? She is alive and well. So anywho, so Tick finds out that Christina is alive, and he goes to meet with her, right? But of course he has plans to kill a dead with a gun, which actually is very foolish. You know, I don't really understand it because she is an entire witch. Like, why would Tick think that he could just pull out a gun and kill her, and that, you know, it just would have happened that easily? Like, you wasn't thinking, like, of course she was gonna cast a spell on you, right? But anywho, are you smart or not, Tick? I can't keep up. So anywho, right, so Christina, she casts a spell on Tick, and he's paralyzed, and she goes into detail of their family history. She shares that the man, Hargo, I don't know, y'all, whatever his name is, you know, he actually lived in the house that Letitia is living in right now, and he is also one of the founders of their little cult that they got going on, the little warlock cult. And he also hid pages of the Book of Names, and she's in the search of these Book of Names so she can do these spells and just be so powerful. So moving on to my theories and final thoughts. Okay, one, Christina killed her daddy, y'all. Okay, and I'm just gonna say it. Now, true, she didn't physically kill him, but let's wrap this up. Okay, follow me. One, Christina is the freaking mastermind. That's the word I was looking for. Okay, so it was her idea to bring in Tick, all right, to her father so he could try to cross over to Adam. All right, it's very clear that Christina, she was upset that, you know, she couldn't be part of the little boys club or the little warlocks because she was a woman. Okay, and also the relationship between her and her father was very strained. Like, you know, it was clear that she wanted to be loved. You know, she was trying to do whatever she could, but the father was very distant to her, and he made it very vocal. She also gave Tick the little speech that's saying, our father cannot define us, and, you know, whenever we see the opportunity, we have to seize it, or whatever the fuck she said. Okay? Thirdly, she knew that in order for her father to complete the ceremony, he had to give up his power, which was, you know, invulnerability. All right? And just miraculously, when the house had fell down, you survived it, but you didn't plan this out? The girl is sneaky. Moving on to the present day, it's her who gave the money to Letitia, right? And then Letitia went to go purchase the house, which is the house whose owner was a follower of Winthrop. And Winthrop, of course, is a founder of the Sons of Sons, or whatever the fudge it is that they're called, who stole pages of the Book of Names, who then hid it. So therefore, Christina, she knew about all of this. And of course, Letitia, being tied to Tick, of course, right there is going to bring in Tick. And then, you know, Tick going to go ahead and do her dirty work for her, and I guess, and find out where the freak the Book of Names are. And it's like, dang, Christina is a smart mama jamma. And I could tell ever since she first popped up on the screen, I said, that white lady, she a different white lady. She gonna make some things up. She gonna shake up the world, and that's exactly what she doing. Now, I don't understand why Tick would actually participate in this whole thing of, like, finding the Book of Names, but it wouldn't be a TV show unless people didn't do things that they had no business of doing, so I'll go ahead and I'll take that. Also, my other theory is that the dungeon where, like, the bodies are, that's the dungeon that, like, Tick and them gonna have to go through in order to get to the other world, in order to find them pages that Winthrop then hid. Mark my words, mark my words. And then also, y'all, because I bet you nobody thought about this, hear me out. Okay, so you remember great grandma Hannah, right? You know, remember when she came to save Tick, you know, during the ceremony when, you know, she guided him out the house? What did great grandma Hannah have in her hand? A book. What if the book that Hannah got in her hands is the Book of Names? And she got to come back to come in, you know, direct her baby, to direct her bloodline, because this time her bloodline gonna prevail. I'm just saying. But moving on, because that right there got me hyped, and I hope it got you hyped too. Thirdly, or secondly, I don't know what number we're on. After doing a little bit of research, I found out that Uncle George is a very important part of the book that this show is based off of. Okay, and he doesn't die. At least he doesn't die in the beginning like he did now. So my thing is, remember when the kids were playing with the Ouija board and the Ouija board said that it was George who they were talking to? What if that's supposed to like foreshadow that George is going to be in this show, just in spirit and ghost form? I think so. I think so. Now moving on to Letitia and Tick. Y'all, I actually think it's pretty dead for them. And that's only because Letitia has now revealed that the reason why she was, you know, pushing forward on Tick was because she was trying to feel something, you know, feel an emotion, which shows that so you weren't interested in Tick. You didn't actually like him. You were just trying to, you know, use it for your own gain, which actually stays true to her brand of being selfish and only thinking of herself. And Tick deserves better than that, because you know what did I say? We over here is Team Tick, TT, and we ain't standing for that, because Tick is a good man. So you know what? Him and Letitia don't need to be together, because Letitia, she too immature. She ain't ready. Okay? And also Tick and his daddy relationship, that stuff is tiring. His daddy need therapy, and Tick deserves better. And when is Tick gonna find out that Uncle George is his daddy? I just don't know. Maybe he gonna find out during the Ouija board. We don't know. Anywho, this show is extremely messy. Okay, this show is a big mess, and it's a very confusing mess, and I cannot wait until next week's episode. Okay, so I catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.